Documenting Metamorphosis on the 10th day of July. So it's a Wednesday. Today. I was having a dream that I was fighting someone who used to be my friend. I used to live with, who he's a very cut off his nose to spite his face kind of stubborn person, and I was fighting him in my dream. That's all that needs to really be said. He wrote some stuff. There was a house that I had with him. He's overseas, and he wrote some stuff in the court to stop me from having the house that I'm the leaseholder of back. But it was just a psychotic thing. Like even the judge, the adjudicator in the Queensland Civil Administrative Tribunal was psychotic. He hung up on me. He's so psychotic. These people are psychotic. Like they have this loop in consciousness, loops on itself, like a poltergeist. And they can't see anyway, so that was a while ago, like quite a while ago. And in this compassionate leadership training men's circle meeting last night, we're talking about addiction. And I was saying that, like I'm like the opposite of a control freak, but I'm still a control freak. I said a few other things along those lines, and it's always pertinent what comes up in the week. That's the topic. And so now the topic for next week is forgiveness. In any case, I was fighting him in my dream in some weird setting. I was in some, like, all the opera greats were all in this one place, and it's here in Brisbane, and I was there at that venue watching the opera, and it was like, I can't really remember and explain all this stuff, but it was in the same venue that we're having this fight. In any case, then Elvis's eye was messed up really bad, and this one a bit from him mauling Bufo and Bufo getting something back on his eye. And my hands must have been reaching out over the top of Elvis's head whilst I was asleep in a dream fighting. And I've woken up to Elvis absolutely mangling my hands in the dark. I've woken up in the dark and fuck! Oh, Elvis, you fucked my hands up, mate. Fumbling around trying to find a light, to turn the light on, to just find blood fucking pissing everywhere, and my hands lacerated. It's my left hand. This is my right hand. It's nowhere near as bad, but it hurts a lot more. So in that point there on the end of my thumb, the skin's not broken here on my right hand so much, but so he's the best dog in the world. And something happened, so it's Tuesday today, and then last Thursday Elvis was holding Boxer down and Bufo was biting Boxer around the back legs, on the scrotum and the stomach, and then he bit his front leg, and Boxer couldn't really walk or do much for 4 days or 3 days, and then on the third night and then that fourth day he started to be fine again. So then it's Monday night that thing happened with Bufo, and it's such a thing, like Bufo wasn't doing anything wrong this night. He hadn't done anything. He'd been good as gold all day, and all night he'd been perfect. And then there'd just been that thing because the two bitches had a fight, and then I broke that up and dealt with it, and then a bit of aggression and stuff there, and I was right there. I stood in between them. Nothing happened. I'm sure I've got an inclination to suspect that Bufo let out a bit of a sound as he stood back, and it was about getting in trouble for something he hadn't done, not about being held or anything like that. And Elvis has just come flying through and collected him and taken him like a few meters and then shook him, and then that whole ordeal has started, and it's taken me minutes to stop him, and then Boxer started on Bufo, and then I'm trying to get Boxer off while I'm having to hold Elvis up in the air so he can't put his legs on the ground, and until I didn't have any strength left in me to stop the two of them, and then I'm catching my breath with the sound of two dogs mauling one dog in the background until I was able to catch my breath again and get down after them and stop it from happening. Finally, so Bufo, last night, I got him out. I had them across the road in the park, and then I put Elvis and Boxer back in the car, left everyone else out, and then took Bufo out and put him on the ground, and then he walked for a bit over further, and then he took like 3 minutes to empty his bladder. He'd been holding it all that time. And then he sat with me. I sat down and ended up lying down on the ground with him for ages, with my hand on him. And then I picked him up and put him back in the crate. Took him back inside, and then I set him up in the crate with some food and water and brand new pillows that were still wrapped in plastic. And I put him in there, and so I made him comfortable. And I locked the crate this time, whereas the time before I left the crate unlocked, and he jumped out of there. He got out, and then he jumped up into the car, and he's sitting in the passenger seat of the car. And there was another dog there with him, Trippy too, all night. And in the morning, she stayed with him. And then last night, Moo stayed in the car with him. Left the passenger door open so she could get in the car. But I left the crate locked because Bufo was able to move around a little bit more. I did not want to risk anything. And I got all messed up. So I was in terrible pain. I'm still in terrible pain now. Still throbbing pain on both thumbs. You know how hard it is to roll a joint. Hands are all fucked up. But I don't know what time it was. It was dark. It was probably like 4 o'clock or something. And I just rolled a huge joint. As big as my finger, really. I couldn't really roll anything smaller. I just couldn't roll it around then. So I smoked that. And just kept saying, "Oh, Elvis." You know, like Elvis got in underneath the blanket, down at my feet, with his whole body against my legs. I don't think he felt real good about himself. And I don't think he felt real good about what he did to Bufo either, but it's just the way things are. I don't think Boxer feels real bad about what happened, but, you know, Boxer's had to put up with a lot of shit from Bufo. And Boxer's always been such a great dog. Like, he's always submitted to Elvis, whereas Bufo's got this same thing about not submitting. So whatever the hell was going on, there's like millions and millions of years of instinct. And I do not dare even suggest that I have a clue what that was about. What I find is relevant is that we had this thing on last Thursday. I couldn't chastise Boxer or Bufo. I broke it up straight away. They stood back before my hands needed to even do anything, before I needed to physically break it up. They stood back just to my voice. I could not chastise them for it. Then what happened on Monday night, I could not chastise them for it. What happened last night, I could not chastise Elvis for it. I mean, if that had been me Like if that had been anything other than me, anyone else's hands, I suppose, other than my lover or someone that was already in bed with me, but maybe, anyway, if someone had come in and had tried to get at me whilst I was asleep, then this is what Elvis would have done as a preliminary thing to their hands, and then found that they were not me, and I'm sure he would have torn them to pieces. As soon as he realised it was me, then he stopped, straight away. It's not his fault. He couldn't see. It would have just been something, a violent intention above his hand. He's just very quick and just messed up. Now, the thing with this is it's about Nobbs Suzuki Praxis. It's about transmutation through art. It's about spiritual interrogation, interrogating one's own spirit. It's about, what am I going through right now? What does the audience see? What does the cosmos see? And what do I get back from that? And see, I got this headache here, you see. And I've had this headache for a few years. And 7 days ago, I spent the day basically surrendering to the fact that I just can't seem to do anything here and deal with this mess that is even worse than what it was last week, because I had someone come and help me clean up, and my God, I don't know what is going on with them. When you get someone start calling you all kinds of names and all kinds of things, and you've known them a long time, and they're taking medication, all I said was, stop taking that fucking medication. It's fucking you up. Come round here, sort your head out by sorting this place out. Like, you did make a big mess, like you said, actually, so you need to come back and sort it out. That's another thing that's just there in the background, dealing with that. There's a lot of conflict. Must be some Mars things going on, yeah? An astrologer would say there's something going on with Mars because of the incisions, the cuts, and the conflict. And whether it's light on in the dash in your car, or whether it's your key won't open the lock nice and smoothly because there's a bit of rust in there, or needs a bit of spray or oil in there, or whether it's a mouse getting into your kitchen, whether it's a dog that is so totally devoted to you, like protecting you but not realizing you, and then whatever the fuck. Like, I don't have dreams like that. Whatever was going on, whether it's this look on your face, I've always had Tai Chi and Kung Fu, Qigong, meditation, yoga, all the healing arts that I've practiced, the various disciplines of meditation and sport. So I've got a lot of practices, I've got a lot of stuff behind me that gives me focus and drive and discipline to achieve and to compose myself and to maintain my composure. However, that sort of reflects in relationships. When relationships do not work, and the proof is in the results, then it doesn't matter what we've achieved. We might play for Australia in representative sports or whatever, but if you can't have a relationship with the mother of your children, then what good is playing for Australia? You might be the best soldier that Australia's ever produced. You might have saved so many other Australian soldiers by being a sniper and shooting from a distance at anyone who might shoot your men, your comrades. But if you can't have a relationship with the mother of your children, what good is that? And if the politician sent you somewhere to do a job and you did that job well and then the politicians withdrew you and left $87 billion worth of brand new equipment on the ground with the keys in it so that it can end up in the Taliban's hands and then end up in Ukraine somehow, that plays on you. What good is all the achievement? And it's an interesting one for fighting because, like, I'd like to think that if I was to engage in combat, it would not be a situation that I could possibly lose, because I would not be engaging in combat if there was any chance of losing. And Tai Chi is the yielding power of softness. So basically what I'm saying is anyone who could beat me in a fight would not be getting into a fight to start with, because we're at that level that we just would not get into a fight. So to have this dream where I'm fighting, and it's like I was underwater and all this, is just so strange, and it was a struggle. Like, it's just a horrible dream, actually. I'm quite grateful to have woken up from it, even with this as the thing that woke me up, because thank fuck I wasn't in that dream anymore, you know. So it looks rather artistic. You know, this is everything. See how swollen it is? See how swollen? You can't really see how swollen, but my index finger is very swollen, like it is. Actually, inflammation's gone down significantly, but yeah. It's throbbing. It's actually talking about making it hurt less, but this thumb here is throbbing constantly. It's a constant state of throbbing, as though the end of my thumb is not there. That's just bruised. It's not even, the skin's not even broken. It's just bruised. Yeah, it's broken around the back there a bit. So if it had not been for the Nobbs Suzuki Praxis, like I thought that I was going to start crying. That's why I thought I'd pull this out and get that authentic realness. And here the tears are now, you know, but if it wasn't for the Nobbs Suzuki Praxis, I would have fallen apart big time. Like, if not before this morning, because Bufo is not there, it's like, it seems like he could not have forced his way out of the crate, which is a cage with a lock. It would need to be slid and then flicked up and unlocked, and then the crate cage door opened, and then, like, he couldn't have just forced his way through it. And then it couldn't have just, like, he forced his way through and then it slammed shut, because it needed to have been slid, flicked up, and then pulled out, unlocked. And so then it'd be flicked up, put in, and then put down, and then slid to lock it back again, because it was locked. And I can't find him anywhere. Like, I can't find him anywhere. As best I can crawl around with my hands all messed up like this, underneath everything to see if he's around. I can't find him. And he was my most difficult dog. But he really had just come good so much, so many times, but he'd shown so much attentiveness to me. And I'm pretty sure that I would have been raided because of just things that have been happening around here lately. It certainly would have looked like I was possibly selling drugs. It seems to look like that, you know, like, how do things look from the outside? You got this surveillance on me constantly. Then a number of people turned up here last week, at the end of the week, and then over the weekend, that just happened to be in the area and just stopping by to say hello, and or they were with other people, and they've all got histories. Like 6 or 7 people turned up here. And it certainly, I would say, like, I could feel it, and I'm just like going, well, God, like, look how this looks, you know, like, of course it's going to look this way, isn't it? So I was actually very literally, very real, like, expecting Queensland Drug Squad to cut their way in here, and I was trying to make it clear to them, look, I've left, like, this is the way you get in, you know, like, don't cut the fucking place open, please, just, like, come in, you know, if that's what you're going to do, don't fucking cut the place open. But I feel like maybe they couldn't get close to me, either that or they're scanning the bus and everything with God knows whatever technology they've got, and they see that there's nothing here, so they didn't come in. Either that, or they just couldn't get in and get close, mainly because of Bufo. I mean, there's technology that is very small, like that big kind of technology, and smaller, that has these cameras on it and these little red lights and these other coloured lights and shit, and God knows what the fuck they do, but they fly in, they've got sensors on, they fly inside in here, and they fly around, and you see, like, there's a hole in the mosquito screen, so they can get in and out, yeah, and you see them, you're lying there, or you wake up and you don't move. See my eyes? I can see something, and then I can move my eyes like this, and it doesn't move. But as soon as I move my head to slide, well, I might look at something for 3 minutes, blinking, no worries. But as soon as my head moves in the absolute slightest degree like that, bang, it's gone. And then, because there was the movement, then my boy here will see it, and he'll go chasing off after it. You see his eyes. So he couldn't see, and oh no, like, just I don't profess to know anything about dogs whatsoever. I spent my entire existence with them. And lucky I don't profess to know anything about them. Hey, my mate. Hey, my mate. Hey, my mate. You know, this dog has been here for me. Bufo's been there for me. And, you know, like, it's like, just even the way that I was disciplining Bufo in the last week, by being very gentle and being understanding to him, and by not even giving a harsh command and just walking across, because he never wants to come back, you know, he never wants to get in the car, he always wants to stay out. And so I just walk across, and then I squat down, and he runs to me. I'm like, come on, mate, let's go, come on. You know, and if I'd been any harsher than that, I wouldn't forgive myself, because he's not here. It's so much like it's like my children beating the shit out of, like, it's like two of my children absolutely beating the shit out of one of my children, almost to the point of death, you know, and me not being able to stop it. So I am falling apart in some ways. I don't know where my dog is. If he has miraculously somehow gotten out of his crate, then he's not around. He's not in the yard. I've not been able to find him anywhere. I'm at a complete loss. I'm completely powerless. I have no power in this situation. And I have no fucking tissues either. Oh, God. If it wasn't for the Nobbs Suzuki Praxis and for having access to John and Jackie during the week as well at very relevant, specific, divine times, then I would be really falling apart right now. If it wasn't for the last 3 training sessions that I've attended and the healing crises that I've had on the Sunday before the training sessions, and then everything else has happened and just falling apart. Absolutely falling apart. I had the most terrible migraine this last Sunday. And I got in there and I trained and it cleared that migraine. And the week before that, I was in a terrible state. I was so sick. I was unbelievably sick, but I did it. I got there, I did the training, and I transformed it. The week before that, I was an absolute mess. I fell to pieces. But I did it. And it's a real spiritual thing. So there's every other art medium and there's every other discipline that's out there that I've done that if it wasn't for the Nobbs Suzuki Praxis and the master geniuses that invented it doing the training with me and then me having access to them, I would be totally in a state of having, past tense, fallen to pieces right now and be completely incapable of fucking doing anything for a good 6 hours while I'm just like, I don't know, actually that's not necessarily true, because I'd probably just deal with what I've got to deal with and not really be feeling it so much. That's probably more what it is. More, the truth is, like I was saying yesterday, that I'm feeling quite traumatized. And it's probably the first time in my life that I'm actually feeling traumatized. In this kind of manner especially, you know, and like if you're lying on a calf, if you're lying on a heifer that's too young to have gotten pregnant but got into the paddock with the bulls, and the Land Cruiser is got chains tied around its bull bar, tied around the calf's legs, it's been dead for at least a week, and I've got to lie on top of the heifer to try and hold her down while she's being dragged along the ground, while I'm being dragged along the ground on top of her, until the calf is finally pulled out of the heifer. So there's a chance of maybe trying to save the cow's life, because the calf has been dead for at least a week and there's maggots growing all out of it. It's like, you just deal with it. And the first thing you got to do when you start working on a station is like take a black sheep, turn its neck as you put your knee down over it, and cut its throat with the knife that you just sharpened. And that's to test your nerve, I suppose, and test your gut. And then you cut that up into little pieces and put into fly baits to stop the blowfly. And that's just the Australian way, isn't it? Stiff upper lip to an extent, thick skin. But the Nobbs Suzuki Praxis has made me feel, and so yeah, I feel somewhat traumatized, but I feel like I have transmuted so much. So even with this, I'm transmuting. The inflammation has actually gone down in my left index finger knuckle. Like, it's gone down significantly whilst I've been filming this. So what is that? You know, these dogs are everything to me. I've been filming for half an hour. I wanted to say something for a few minutes and try and get back out there and find Bufo. Not that he's anywhere to be found. So, if there's something that you're immersed in, if you're not immersing in it 100%, then I really encourage you to immerse yourself in it 100% as a discipline and composure, and get the best out of it you possibly can. Because this is living. This is what life is. Alright, over and out. Ciao.